Kiri stood on the middle floor of Neuro 5 Station's lower deck, his small alien feet barely making a sound. His green skin had faded to a pale gray, and his clothes were too big for his tiny frame. He looked around with wide yellow eyes as hundreds of aliens passed by. No one stopped. No one cared. "Give my mom a credit, she'll clean your toilet," he shouted again, his voice full of hope, not shame. A group of 3 traders walked by, laughing. A tall feathered one shook his head and said, "Pathetic." Kiri didn't understand all the languages spoken around him, but he understood the tone. His shoulders dropped, but only for a moment. He couldn't give up. Not when his mother hadn't eaten in days. Not when their sleeping spot near the waste vents smelled worse than the recycling units. His mother, Scylla, sat quietly nearby with her back against a supply crate. She heard her son shout again and closed her eyes. Once, she had worked as a respected systems engineer on her home planet, Varn. She had managed large teams and fixed power grids. But then the war came. Her city was destroyed. Her people scattered. Now she was just another refugee no one wanted. "Kiri," she said softly, "come here." Kiri ignored her. Instead, he ran in front of a tall being with mechanical legs. "Please. 1 credit, just 1. My mom is very good at cleaning. She can fix things too. Anything." The being pushed him aside gently and kept walking. Nearby, a human named Jason watched from his small corner repair booth. He wore a faded jumpsuit with tools strapped to his waist. He was tall, with short dark hair and tired eyes, and he spent most of his days fixing broken panels and faulty cables. He had seen Kiri before, always begging, always polite. But today, something in the boy's voice pulled at him. Jason stood up and walked over. "Hey, kid," he said. "You said your mom can clean toilets?" Kiri turned quickly, surprised. "Yes? Yes, she can. She's very good. She can clean, fix pipes, repair broken stuff. Please. Just 1 credit." Jason crouched down. "What's your name, Kiri?" "I'm Jason. Can I talk to your mom?" Kiri smiled so wide it lit up his face. He grabbed Jason's hand and pulled him towards Scylla. "Mom, he wants to talk to you." Scylla opened her eyes and looked up at the human. She was calm, but her eyes showed caution. "Sir," she said quietly, "I'm willing to work for whatever you offer. I don't want charity." "I'm not offering charity," Jason said. "I need my maintenance area clean. I'll pay 1 credit. "Deal." She nodded. "Deal." Jason led them to his small repair booth. It was messy wires on the floor, oil stains on the walls, and a broken cleaning bot sitting in the corner. Scylla didn't hesitate. She rolled up her sleeves and got to work. At first, Jason just watched. But soon, he realized something strange. She didn't just clean. She repaired the old cleaning bot in minutes. She organized tools by function. She even fixed a faulty wall panel that had sparked earlier that week. "You said you clean toilets," Jason said. Watching her work, Scylla gave a small smile. "I've cleaned worse. This is easy. You've done engineering work before?" "I was chief systems engineer on Varn City's main power station." Jason blinked. "And now you're cleaning floors. War doesn't care about titles," she said simply. He looked at her again. She wasn't just another refugee. She was smart, skilled, and calm under pressure. And she wasn't asking for pity, just a chance. After 2 hours, his place looked better than it had in months. Scylla stood, wiped her hands, and said, "Thank you for the work." Jason handed her a credit chip. "No, thank you." Kiri grabbed the chip and held it like treasure. "We can get food, Mom." As they turned to leave, Jason called out, "Scylla, do you want more work tomorrow?" She paused. "Yes." "Then be here at 0800, and bring your son if you need." Scylla nodded once, then took Kiri's hand and walked away. That night, Jason sat in his now clean booth, thinking. Most people on this station didn't help others. Too busy, too scared, too cold. But today, a small alien child had shouted something silly. And instead of laughing, Jason had said yes. Maybe that changed more than he thought. Scylla arrived right on time the next morning. Her clothes were still worn and patched, but she had cleaned them the best she could. Carrie walked beside her, carrying a small toolkit Jason had given them the night before. He was smiling, excited to return. Jason greeted them with a warm nod. "You're early. Early is better than late," Scylla replied. "Come on in. There's plenty to do." She got to work without wasting a second, while she scrubbed and organized. Carrie helped sort old tools. Jason showed him how to label wires and check battery charges. The boy asked questions about everything: how to fix a power coil, how to test old panels, how to repair a cleaning drone. He was curious, fast, and always polite. Scylla repaired a cracked coolant pipe behind the generator. No manual, no help, just careful thinking and skillful hands. Jason stood behind her, impressed once again. "You ever think about getting back into engineering?" he asked. Scylla looked at him. "No one wants a refugee with no papers." "Papers or not, you've got skill." She didn't answer. She just kept working. Later that day, Claire, head engineer of Neuro 5, stopped by. She was tall, with dark hair tied back and a sharp voice that made people listen. She had come to check on Jason's progress with a few faulty systems. Claire stepped into the booth and paused. Everything was neat. Tools were sorted. Systems were working. "This can't be your work," she said to Jason with a smirk. "It's not," he said honestly. "Scylla did most of it." Claire looked at Scylla. "You?" Scylla stood straight. "Yes." Claire crossed her arms. "Fix something for me, right now. That drone over there." It was an old flying bot that kept failing its balance. Scylla opened the panel, adjusted the stabilizer coils, cleaned the sensor lens, and recalibrated the flight control. In 3 minutes, it hovered smoothly. Claire raised an eyebrow. "That's not bad." "Thank you," Scylla said simply. "You looking for work?" Scylla glanced at Jason, then at Carrie. "I'll do whatever is needed." Claire handed her a chip tablet. "Come see me tomorrow. Maybe I'll test you again." When Claire left, Carrie couldn't stop smiling. "Mom, you did it." Jason grinned. "Too. She's not wrong. You're better than most techs on this level." Scylla gave a small nod, trying not to get her hopes too high. She had been crushed before, but this time felt different. By the end of the week, Scylla was working both for Jason and part-time under Claire's team. The change was quick. More people noticed her. Other humans began to greet her kindly. Carrie was allowed into the education deck for young workers. He learned fast math, systems, even a bit of Earth history. But not everyone was happy. Some of the alien workers on the station whispered behind her back. A few were jealous. They didn't like how fast a refugee was rising. One of them, a tall Xenon tech named Draal, watched her closely. He had wanted the engineering role Claire gave to Scylla. Now he smiled less and muttered more. "Humans always help their pets," he said once, loud enough for Scylla to hear. She didn't respond, but Carrie heard it too. He wanted to say something, but Scylla shook her head. "Let your work speak, not your anger." Jason heard the comment as well. "Don't listen to him," he told her quietly. "You're better than him, and that scares people." Scylla just nodded. One day, Jason took Scylla and Carrie to an old power junction on Deck 12. It hadn't worked properly in years, and no one could figure out why. Even Claire's team had failed to fix it. Scylla studied the system carefully, ran a few tests, and spotted the problem. The issue wasn't in the cables, it was in the old eye control unit. It had a silent loop error that caused sudden shutdowns. She repaired the code, reset the unit, and slowly, the power lights turned green. "By the stars," Jason whispered. "It's working," Carrie said, jumping up and down. A few minutes later, Claire arrived. "Who fixed this?" Jason pointed to Scylla. Claire stared for a long moment. "You ever train on iSystems?" "I studied AI circuits at Varna's Technical Institute," Scylla said. "Before it was bombed." Claire nodded. "You're not just good, you're better than half my team." "I just fix what I can," Scylla said softly. After that day, Claire gave her more responsibility. Scylla was allowed to teach junior techs, guide repairs, and even access engineering-level files. Her name began to spread beyond Jason's booth. Soon, other species on the station began to greet her with respect. even some who had ignored her before now gave her nods of approval. Kiri, too, was changing. He walked straighter, laughed more, and told everyone, "My mom is the best engineer here." But in the shadows, Draw watched, and he didn't smile. He approached a fellow worker. With a bitter voice, "She's moving too fast. Someone needs to remind these humans that rules still matter." The station buzzed with quiet energy after Scylla fixed the old power junction on Deck 12. Her name became known to more workers. She didn't ask for praise. She only did her job and stayed humble. But people talked, humans, aliens, even security. Teams began to recognize her. Jason noticed how the mood around his booth had changed. More customers came. Some just wanted a quick fix. But others came to meet the alien woman who had fixed the system no one else could. Scylla became a quiet legend among the repair crews. Kiri now wore a basic station jumpsuit, just like the human. Kids in the learning halls. He had friends. He had books. He had dreams every evening. He returned to his mother with a smile and stories. But not everyone smiled. Draw, the Xenon mechanic who once held a strong position in Claire's team, watched all of this in silence. He had been passed over for promotions twice, first when Claire gave Scylla her first chance, and again after the Deck 12 repair. To him, it wasn't fair. He believed Scylla was getting help because of pity, and it made his pride burn. One evening, after Scylla left the engineering floor, Drahl slipped into the control area. He wasn't scheduled for any task, but he wore his old access badge. It still worked. He knelt by a wall panel and connected a small black device. The device hummed for a second, then began to upload silent code into the ventilation systems. When he stood up, he whispered to himself, "Let's see how long her reputation lasts." The next day, things started to go wrong. First, a minor vent system began pushing out warm air instead of clean. Then another on the same level stopped working completely. Soon, two more vents failed. Temperatures rose. People complained. Engineers rushed to find the cause. Claire called her full team. "Check the eye controls and circuits now. If this spreads, half the station will lose air circulation." Scylla joined the search. She double-checked systems, scanned for errors, and examined the same lines she had fixed before. She couldn't find anything wrong. It didn't make sense. 2 hours later, the main gravity unit started shaking. It stopped within seconds, but panic had already spread. Claire turned to her team. "This is sabotage," she said. Draal stepped forward. "I saw someone tampering with the ventilation core last night." Claire stared at him. "Who?" "Scylla," he said without blinking. "I saw her myself." The room fell silent. Even Jason, who had come to help, looked shocked. Scylla, a single quote says. Eyes widened. "That's not true. I've never been near that system without permission." Drahl crossed his arms. "I saw you. I didn't say anything at first. I thought maybe you were just checking. But then the system started failing." Kiri stood at the back of the room, watching. His heart beat fast. His hands clenched. He wanted to shout, to defend his mother. But no one would believe a child over a worker like Drahl. Claire looked between them. "I have no proof either way. But the systems are failing, and we have a witness, Scylla. You're suspended from engineering until this is cleared." Scylla's breath caught in her throat. She said nothing. She simply nodded. Jason protested. "You can't just take his word. This is about safety, not belief," Claire said firmly. "If it wasn't her, we'll find out. But for now, she's off the team." Scylla walked out slowly, holding Kiri's hand. She didn't cry, but her silence was heavy. That night, they sat in a quiet corner of the station. The lights above flickered. Kiri looked up at her. "They don't believe you. I know, but I do." She smiled weakly. "Thank you. Maybe. We can prove it." Scylla didn't answer, but Kiri was already thinking. He remembered something. 2 days ago, when he had passed the security room on the learning deck, he saw an old worker uploading camera files. Kiri had asked what it was. The worker said, "Security stores backup footage for the whole deck." Kiri stood up. "Mom, I'm going to find something." Kiri, wait. But he had already gone. He ran through the halls until he reached the learning deck. Then he slipped through the side hallway to the security post. The worker wasn't there. Kiri looked around, then stepped behind the desk. He wasn't trained in security, but Jason had shown him basic system access on his tablet. Kiri opened the station's camera list. Most were locked, but a few old backup files were still stored in the cache. He searched by time. Night, Deck 12. Camera 12-B. He watched the footage. At first, nothing. Then he saw movement. Someone entered the hallway. Not his mother. Dral. Kiri's eyes lit up. I knew it. He copied the video file to his tablet and ran back. The next day, Jason met Scylla at her corner. She looked tired. We'll fix this, he said. Before she could answer, Kiri ran up, waving his tablet. Look, he shouted. Scylla looked down. The screen showed Drawl sneaking into the system hall and uploading something to the event core. Jason stared in disbelief. You found this? Kiri nodded. From the backup cache. Jason took the tablet straight to Claire. An hour later, security surrounded Drawl. He didn't deny it. He just muttered. They liked her too much. She needed to fall. Claire called Scylla back to the team the same day. She handed her a new badge. You were right. I'm sorry for doubting you. Scylla bowed slightly. Thank you for correcting it. The crew clapped quietly when she returned. Even the humans who hadn't spoken to her before now smiled with respect. Scylla didn't speak much, but Kiri's proud face said enough. Jason looked at her and said, Remind me again what you used to do before cleaning toilets. She smiled for real this time. I build power grids. You're building something more now. Jason replied, You're building trust. After Drawl's exposure and Scylla's return to the engineering team, the atmosphere on Neuro 5 station began to change slowly but surely. Scylla's skills and honesty had earned her respect, yet there was still a long way to go. The station was a vast place with many species, old grudges, and silent competition. One morning, as Scylla worked alongside Claire and Jason repairing a broken communication relay, a message arrived from Earth's United Space Fleet. The message was short but clear. They had noticed Scylla's work and wanted to invite her for a special assignment. Claire read the message aloud. This is serious. They want her on Terra Arc 9, a new human-built station designed for mixed species. Cooperation. It's a chance of a lifetime. Scylla's eyes widened. Me? Why me? Jason smiled. Because you're good, and they saw it. Kiri, standing nearby, looked up at his mother with shining eyes. Mom, that's amazing. But Scylla hesitated. I am a refugee. I don't have proper documents. I don't belong to them. Claire put a hand on Scylla's shoulder. Sometimes, what we think we don't have is less important than what we can do. The next day, Scylla prepared for a meeting with the fleet's recruitment officer. She dressed in the cleanest clothes she had, her heart pounding with a mixture of fear and hope. Kiri helped pack a small bag with some of his toys and tools. The recruitment officer, a stern human woman named Captain Vera, greeted her at the station's docking bay. We've heard about your work, fixing what others could not, and earning trust along the way. Scylla bowed respectfully. Thank you, Captain. Vera smiled. We want you to join Terra Arc 9. It's a station for peace, science, and cooperation. You will have access to better tools, better training, and a chance to prove yourself on a larger stage. Scylla looked at Kiri. The boy nodded, encouraging her silently. I accept, she said quietly. The news spread quickly. Some on NUR 05 cheered for her success. Others whispered in disbelief. How could a refugee get such a chance? Drawl's name came up again, this time as a warning. Don't let humans raise their pets too high, he said bitterly. But Scylla didn't look back. She focused on preparing herself and her son for a new life. On Terra Arc 9, Scylla and Kiri stepped off the human ship and into a bright, clean, and buzzing station. Unlike Neuro 5, Terra Arc 9 was designed to blend species and cultures. Holographic gardens floated near the ceilings, and voices in many tongues filled the halls. They were greeted by a team of engineers and diplomats Claire had arranged for. Scylla to meet the head of engineering, a warm woman named Maya, who showed her around. "We want you to lead a small team," Maya explained. "Your skills with mixed species systems are exactly what we need." Scylla was nervous, but determined. "Thank you for this opportunity." Kiri explored the station's learning centers. He quickly made friends with alien and human children alike. He loved the Holocene games and science labs. Jason visited often, bringing news from Neuro 5 and cheering Scylla on. Weeks passed. Scylla's team worked on upgrading the station's old life support systems. Many had doubted her ability, but she showed them that skill and dedication were what mattered most. One day, an emergency alarm rang. A reactor core showed signs of overheating. Engineers rushed and panicked. Scylla took charge calmly. "Evacuate non-essential personnel. I'll lead the repair team," with Jason and Maya by her side. She studied the readings and found a blocked coolant valve. The valve had corroded, and if not fixed quickly, it could cause a meltdown. Scylla donned a repair suit and went into the reactor chamber. The heat was intense. Her hands moved with precision as she cleared the blockage and replaced the valve. Minutes later, the alarm stopped, the reactor stabilized, the station crew cheered. Scylla was praised as a hero. Kiri watched proudly. Mom saved the station. As the weeks turned into months, Scylla's reputation grew beyond Terra Arc 9. She spoke at meetings about refugee rights and the value of second chances. She helped design better training programs for aliens and humans alike. Jason smiled as he watched Scylla and Kiri thrive. "You turned a shout in a crowded station into something greater." Scylla looked at Kiri. "It was your shout that started it all." Kiri grinned. "And your work that kept it going." On Terra Arc 9, they found not only new jobs but a new home. Months had passed since Scylla and Kiri arrived at Terra Arc 9. The station buzzed with new energy, blending species and cultures as never before. Scylla had grown from a cautious refugee to a respected engineer, trusted by humans and aliens alike. Every morning, Scylla woke early. She checked reports, helped her team plan repairs, and mentored young engineers. Kiri attended the station's academy, learning languages, science, and diplomacy. His laughter filled the halls, a sound Scylla never thought she'd hear again. One day, a loud siren shattered the usual calm. An unknown ship appeared near the station's outer rim. The ship sent no identification signals and moved fast. The station's security chief, a tall alien named Vornuk, called an emergency meeting. "This ship is unregistered. It could be a threat." The council debated. Some wanted to send fighters. Others called for caution. Sala stood quietly, listening. Jason leaned over and whispered, "What do you think?" She thought for a moment. "Let's try communication first." "No need to start a fight without knowing." Claire nodded. "I'll send a team." The ship sent a transmission. A calm but firm voice spoke in broken common tongue. "We seek refuge. Need repair. No harm." Relief swept the council, but the tension remained. The station prepared to help. Sala was asked to lead the repair team for the unknown ship. She accepted without hesitation. When the alien crew arrived, they were weary and worn. Their ship was damaged from a recent battle with pirates. Scylla and her team worked day and night, fixing engines, repairing shields, and restoring life support. Kiri made friends with the alien children on board, sharing stories and games during the repair. Scylla learned about the alien crew's struggles far from home, hunted, and desperate. One evening, as Scylla finished a system check, the captain of the alien ship approached. She was tall, with silver-blue skin and eyes that seemed to hold the stars. "You saved us," the captain said softly. "We just helped," Scylla replied. "You remind me of home." "Hope," Scylla smiled. "Hope is what keeps us all alive." The repairs complete, the alien ship prepared to leave. Before departure, the captain handed Scylla a small token of crystal glowing softly. "For your kindness." Scylla accepted, her heart full. As the ship left, the station felt different, more connected. Kiri looked up at his mother. "You saved more than a ship today." Scylla hugged him. "And they saved us all." The story of a child's shout and a human's yes had grown into a tale of hope, trust, and new beginnings across stars, species, and hearts.